Coach, how would you explain the feeling of the Marriott Center for the last 5 minutes of that game with your team putting forth what looked like maximum effort?
Yeah, it was amazing. That's just great college basketball experience. It was a really hard-fought game. Both teams were playing extremely tough, and we needed every ounce of energy that the crowd could give us, and just happy for our guys and happy for the fans.
How do you overcome another situation where an opponent comes in and is just red hot from the three-point line? Because you've been in that situation before against UCF, and then the team folded. So what was different about tonight in your ability to punch back?
I mean, nobody really blinked, in our locker room. We talked about, they made shots, but we got to make them miss. I thought we played with more urgency in the second half. We started switching more, which kind of turned it more into a one-on-one game, which I thought helped maybe not give them as many catch and shoot opportunities. But really, the guys just played so hard to the point where we got Rob puking in a trash can in the huddle. Cade was cramping up. Hadim's taking a shot to the neck, and it was just an all-out warfare out there.
It felt like your team overcame so much tonight. We already mentioned the three-point shooting. At times it felt like the whistle was not favorable, and you've talked about your team needing to play through that. Why were they able to overcome so much tonight?
It was a microcosm of our season. It's been a tough season with a lot of things working against us, and nobody's quit. Even when it's felt low, guys show up the next day and work. And I thought that's what happened in this game. Things didn't go our way. We just kept trying to make the next play, the next right play, and a lot of it was just led by sheer grit and will, and it was just fun to see, man.
Rob Wright reiterated that you said to him you're confident in him. You kept going to him. Why did you like what Rob was doing late in this game in those critical scenarios?
When Rob gets it going, he just has another gear that guys can't get. They just can't get to. And two of the best point guards in the league going head-to-head with him and Christian Anderson. They've played against each other a lot in their lives, and I know he had a little extra motivation, I think, for that matchup, which I love. Rob's he's a quiet kid, but he's got that competitive streak in him, and tonight he just took it to another gear.
AJ said it's the best defensive game he's ever seen Rob Wright play. How would you assess that statement from AJ when thinking about how Rob played on defense tonight?
Well, like I said, I mean, all jokes aside, he played so hard that he puked. And seriously, that's just a testament of grit and will and want to and drive. And now the challenge for Rob is to be able to bottle that up and do it every night, because he's extremely capable of it. But for him to lead our team with the defensive effort and do it on the offensive end was extremely impressive.
I know everyone feels sweet, but how would you define this one, given everything that has happened and how difficult this season has been in many ways, to send your four seniors off this way?
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's what we talked about that. We wanted to win the game for Kaba, for Richie, for J-Mac, for Mihilo. I thought Mihilo was going to bang that three at the end. That would have been storybook. But, it's just, you go through hard stuff, man, it brings people together, right? And so just happy for our guys to, send not just the seniors, but these fans off with the win in the Marriott Center against a really good team who's playing really good basketball. And so it's just a great night.
What does this win do for your team as you head to Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've said this a few times, we needed a moment. I thought the Iowa State was going to be the moment, for the confidence and the belief. And then, we hit a tough patch after that, so we had to find another moment, which we did. And so, we can play. We've proven, with or without Richie, we can play with any team in the Big 12, which, this league is so tough, man. It's such a hard league. And so we're looking forward to getting to Kansas City and competing against the rest of the Big 12. And then, seeing what happens there. Then, obviously, we know what's coming after that.
You had to say some hard things to your guys in the huddle tonight, especially in that first half. And I know you're a pretty cool customer, but you let them have it. How do you feel they responded to those harsh criticisms?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to really simplify things in the last couple of days of practice, and so there's no confusion. I didn't know what we were doing. Now you know what we're doing, so you got to do it harder, right? And so, that's been a good revelation of sorts with this group. Less is more for sure. As we're on the third sort of iteration of this team, we've had to kind of, we've tried a lot of different things, right? And so, giving them simplicity allows me to hold them a little bit more accountable. And tonight, it took a full 40-minute effort to have that sort of come to fruition.
You were calling for a celebration of sorts with the students after the Iowa State game. Didn't happen, but tonight they rushed the floor. What was that moment like for you?
Man, for me, honestly, I'm exhausted. So I was just trying to get to the locker room as fast as I could. But I'm just happy look, the Cougar Nation is unmatched. It really is. It's incredible. And so I was just happy for them. I was happy for our guys. I actually went kind of back door to get out of here. And then I actually came back around and just kind of looked out the window, so to speak, and just saw everybody having a great time. So just a cool moment.
Is there a midnight snack or anything for you tonight after this?
Man, honestly, I truly am. I'm exhausted, so I just hope I can make it home in time and get in my bed and get a little rest. Yeah.
Get this man a cavalcade or something. Just get home safely tonight.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah.